Hi, everybody. It's me again, Dick Zigun, the permanently unelected mayor of Coney Island, keeping my promise to deliver a State of Coney Island weekly address all through the pandemic. So here we are. It's being filmed today, Saturday, June 20th. It's the summer solstice. It's the day that you all were expecting, that I was expecting, the 38th annual Mermaid Parade. Except there is no Mermaid Parade. What am I going to do today? What am I going to do? Let me sit down on the beach and reflect upon how we got here. Come on with me. So if you've been to a Mermaid Parade, you know it's a lot of fun. You know it's theaters in the street, it's spectacle, it's pageantry, it's a Dionysian celebration, but there's a core to it. Some of you maybe have not even seen the ribbon cutting pageant that the parade builds up to. The parade is just a procession, pageantry that gets to something spiritual, something even religious in terms of world culture. And when I first came to Coney Island and thought about a parade, I was thinking about my neighborhood and the history. I'm imagining a map of old Coney Island, and the young Dick Zigun in 1983 had already been in the neighborhood for 3 years. And I was thinking about, how do we get attention for an arts organization without a building? Maybe we need to do something big for a day. Maybe I could put on a parade. But what should I name the parade? So I started walking around my neighborhood. And on buildings, there was iconography of King Neptune, like we just saw. And I walked around the neighborhood, and I looked at the street names. Mermaid Avenue, Neptune Avenue. Kids in the neighborhood, do you know mythology? Yeah, the kids know what a mermaid is. Do they know who Neptune is? Not really. So I decided there would be a Mermaid Parade. And when I first made up the name, before there was the first Mermaid Parade, people were laughing and having a good time because it was absurd. How can mermaids march? They don't have feet. So people were looking forward to the Mermaid Parade. But I figured it can't just be tongue-in-cheek. It can't just be stupid. There has to be a ceremony at the end. So ladies and gentlemen, if you've been to any of the 37 mermaid parades that happen, you know at the end of the parade on the reviewing stand, I take out the key to Coney Island, I read a speech, and I knight the king and queen of the mermaid parade. I crowd them by reciting something like this that I wrote in 1983, because I'm a playwright, and I get up on the reviewing stand with the king and queen. In 2020, that's supposed to be Lynn Nottage and Jeremy O'Harris. And I would say, dearly beloved, ye dolphins, eels, and mackerel, the sun is there. The solstice is here. The summer's meant for swimming. With full solar energy injected in me as the permanently unelected mayor of the beach, I hereby display this lost and found key to nothing at all of importance in the indescribably resort of Coney Island. Hereforth, I ding you, Lynn Nottage, boing, as Coney Island, USA's 38th Queen Mermaid, and then it says insert Lynn Nottage jokes here, except these times are not funny and Lynn is working on serious issues, so no jokes. So I move on. Hereforth I do dawn you Jeremy O'Harris as Coney Island's USA 38th King Neptune. Of course, it says insert Jeremy O'Harris jokes, but I don't have any Jeremy O'Harris jokes. And now we play the final scene. Remember, this is on the reviewing stand at Surf Avenue. The final scene, the main event, the finale. Assuring good weather and fun at the beach, nobody drowning or frowning this year. Our king and queen and ambassadors from the West African Oshun Water Festival will now lead a semi-seriously procession to the Atlantic Ocean, where we will slice through 4 ribbons representing the 4 seasons. The key to Coney Island, remember, right here, will turn up the temperature of the water as you will have an opportunity to observe by means of an unusually large thermometer coming up soon. The main event of the day, ladies and gentlemen, the 38th unofficial opening of the Atlantic Ocean for summer and swimming. Walk this way if you please, except none of that's happening today. There's no Mermaid Parade. There's no priest here. There's no band here. There's no basket carriers, and the parade is not happening, and I got really scared that the beach pageant wouldn't happen. So let me tell you why. So what we're going to do today is essentially a TED Talk tutorial explaining the symbolism and meaning of the beach cutting pageant, which really isn't happening today, the day of the summer solstice, June 20th, 2020, but has to happen today. Because, ladies and gentlemen, after 37 Mermaid Parades, although I'm an agnostic myself and I am skeptical of religion, things have happened at the Mermaid Parade. And I made a decision to, in the cultural capital of the world, New York City, be the one who's in charge of this festival, promotes this festival. I'm tattooed with a mermaid, I'm tattooed with King Neptune. If it has to be done and there's no money to hire a shaman, if there's no money to hire a samba band or a high life band, it's got to be done. If I don't do this, there could be a hurricane. People could drown. Coney Island, USA could go bankrupt. Who knows if an earthquake would happen at Coney Island. So we don't want any of that to happen. So again, let me talk you through it. So 1983, first I wrote that ceremony that you heard. Then I figured, okay, so if we're doing a beach pageant, there has to be a ceremony. I looked at publicity photographs from Atlantic City and Coney Island turn of the century. And I saw people from 100 years ago dressed up as mermaids, dressed up as King Neptune, cutting ribbons. It was tongue-in-cheek cheesecake photography. There were no words, so as a playwright, I had to invent words. There would be a mayor in a top hat, he'd be cutting a ribbon. What does the mayor say? I had to write words for the mayor to say. So in the first parade, not being terribly religious, but being intelligent and being sensitive, I wanted to learn. And I hired a samba band called Petty Boy from the club in Manhattan, Sounds of Brazil. And Petty Boy did the first 2 Mermaids Parade. So essentially from the very beginning, there was a tribute to the Santeria religion from the Caribbean, from Cuba, from Haiti. And as you can see, this beautiful image, and I have a framed shrine like this in my house that's lit up today. This is Umoja, who in Africa is known as Mama Water. In various world cultures over the centuries, over thousands of years, many cultures do tributes to the water gods at the summer solstice. So the first Mermaid Parade, we have Samba, we have Santeria. I become conscious of Umoja. Now, I'm not trying to culturally appropriate things. I full well know I'm an old white guy, then I was a young white guy. Not appropriating things, but in world culture, if we're bringing in and patching together and sampling all different ideas and rituals, religions, it was important to do that. After 2 years with Petty Boy, I met Billy Bungo of Bungo's African American High Life Band. And Billy, for a number of years, did the beach ceremony with me. Billy taught me about Yoruba religion from Nigeria. He taught me about high life music. He taught me about voodoo. I learned a lot, and that became a very important part of the parade. But somebody just talked too much shit to women, and that didn't seem right for the Mermaid Parade. And besides, at that point, I had fallen for a Nigerian woman who came to the Mermaid Parade because she heard there was a high life band. So getting involved and marrying into a Nigerian family and then making a number of trips to Nigeria, I learned more. Come on. So I marry into not a Yoruba family, but a prominent arts family from the Ijaw tribe and the Yoruba tribe, originally from the city of Warri in Delta State. And when I go on maybe my third trip to Nigeria for my mother-in-law's funeral, I travel to Warri and find out that my uncle-in-law is a prominent poet and playwright in Nigeria, John Pepper Clark. And it's my honor and privilege and delight to spend several days with John Pepper Clark at his house, talking about religion, talking about colonialism, talking about playwriting. And John Pepper Clark, one of Nigeria's foremost poets and playwrights, explains to me that during British colonialism, a lot of at least the Yoruba and southern tribes in Nigeria had converted to Christianity. Northern Nigeria is Muslim. Let's talk about the Yoruba area around Lagos. And it's only in the 1950s and 60s that intellectuals or cultural figures like Fela Kuti are going back to the old religions. There is a white woman, an old white woman artist in Nigeria who was a friend of my uncle-in-law, John Pepper Clark. The old Austrian woman, Suzanne Wenger, was the woman who sparked the whole revival of Yoruba religion, of voodoo religion, who restored the traditional magical forest in the Yoruba area of Nigeria that is now a UNESCO World Heritage Site. This old Austrian white woman would lead the procession of tens of thousands to honor Mama Water. So she was white and yet honored in Nigeria. I am who I am. There's nobody else to do this today. So with all of that background about how we got from 1983 to no parade today, let's do the ribbon cutting ceremony, shall we? So if this really were the Mermaid Parade, right now I'd be with the king, with the queen, with the shaman, with hundreds of people and thousands of photographers. We'd be marching on the beach, leading everybody to a gateway, the first of 4 gateways representing the 4 seasons. King, queen, are you with me? We are coming up on fall. Fall approaches. The beach swimmers have gone home, the tourists are gone, the leaves are changing, but I love fall. You can hear the ocean, you can hear the seagulls. I love the change in the seasons, and here we are. Come on, king, come on, queen. This is the first ribbon. I usually cut that one because a mayor isn't nearly as important as a king or a queen or priest. But here we go. Photographers, you got a good shot. Here we go. End of autumn. Yay! Let's go.
Go.
The seasons march on, and so does the beach pageant. We're approaching winter. It's cold, it's 20 degrees. Only the Polar Bear Club comes to Coney Island. Are you with me, King Neptune? Are you with me, Queen Mermaid? Let's huddle closer together. This ribbon gets cut by King Neptune. Yay! All you people, get back! You're crowding me! Get back or we're not going to do it! Paparazzi, there's too many of you! Okay, we're halfway done. We're at you! There's too many of you! Make room! Thank you! Paparazzi, god damn them. Okay, the Mermaid Parade is a tribute to woman. Queen Mermaid will now cut the 3rd ribbon. Your Royal Highness, Queen Mermaid, we need to get through spring. Yay! There really is no Mermaid Parade today. It is June 20th, 2020. There should be a shaman or a priest here doing this job. There's no money to hire one. There's no event to put on. Nevertheless, I've got to do something. I'm going to do the best I can. You can show my film crew. Show them. We're just here making a video of what the parade might be like. I'm going to cut the 4th ribbon and do my best spiritually to pay tribute to the water gods, and that's what we're going to do this year. It's 2020. So the official opening of the Atlantic Ocean at Coney Island for summer swimming starts with cutting this ribbon in this very strange year. Yay! So if you want to talk to the water gods, you got to get their attention, not with expensive trinkets, just by sometimes just shiny objects like pennies. Personal pennies, pennies I collected in my change the past 12 months. Pennies, and I think the water gods like blue flowers. Ladies, please, an offering of the flowers. And we should look for a sign, a fish sign, a bird sign, or the gods with us. Does anyone see a sign? Oh, molasses. Rose water. And at the end of the parade, we turn the key to Coney Island in the Atlantic Ocean. And as you can see by the thermometer taking the temperature of the water, it's warm. You can go swimming. It's summertime. Everybody, summertime.
Yay!
Throw fruit in the ocean. Everybody, throw fruit offerings. Fruit for the water gods. Offerings for the gods. Sharing the shots. Where is the shot? It's over there. Oh, I can never. You want some schnapps? Schnapps. Schnapps for everyone.
Yay!
Not in Corona time.
Hey everybody, I hope you enjoyed that. I hope that explains the seriousness behind the Mermaid Parade. Thank you for watching. Now the parade is over, make sure you go to the Mermaid Parade Ball and dance all night. Make sure you go to coneyisland.com and donate and support popular culture. Thank you, Queen Mermaid Lynn Nottage. Thank you, Kid Neptune Jeremy O'Harris. And followers, I will see you next week with another Coney Island State of Coney Island address from the permanently unelected mayor. Maybe I'll drink less schnapps next week and it will go smoother. Bye.